Angel Reese has jumped right into has jumped right into the mix here,
Really?
complaining about last night, tweeting out, "I'm so disappointed in America. Some of you just couldn't selfishly put your pride aside, huh?" Uh, Steve, do you think this election and these results will have any impact on the sports world?
You know, as someone that comes from a middle class background, this is my perspective. First, let's address Miss Reese, Miss Booty Shorts there. If you have a right to say, I'm going to vote on my interest and my selfish needs, right? Well, doesn't everybody else? I mean, I think people can kind of figure out who I voted for, but that's on my needs. I would never tell anyone to vote because I want something. I think there's a certain sense of entitlement that has taken place and is at the root of what happened here, that people got sick of it. And look, good luck paying your $8,000 a month of rent. You may have to downsize, but with this economy boom, which I think is going to happen very soon, you might be able to upgrade into a $10,000 seat penthouse, right? But this is what happened last night, in my view, Jason. This was a rebuke of the elite bourgeois, the boule, the mainstream media, that good Americans came together and spoke loudly. We tried to give this 4 years, and we saw the results. And really, Jason, I don't even think it's about the 4 years. I really think this is about the beginning of what happened in 2009 when Barack Hussein Obama, it was the great American experiment in post-racial America. And guess what? It led us down a path of destruction. And I want to give Donald Trump a lot of credit, whether you agree or disagree with him or not. He's not a perfect human being. None of us are. But the resiliency that man showed just in the last 5 months, think about what he has been through since the day he said, I am running for president in 2015 or 16. I've never seen anything like it. Again, he has his faults. I'm more than willing to accept them because you know why? He is an incredibly resilient, tough son of a gun.
Love everything you just said there, Steve.
Thank you.
Thank you. I think it's dead on target. Sometimes you're pretty good, man, and that was good stuff. Do you think though? Now let me get you to my question. We've seen Steve Kerr and Greg Popovich and all these, LeBron James, everybody, the anti-Trump movement, the hey, let's get super political. Now that there has been this great rebuke, now that the entire country across the board, including black people, including Hispanic people, everybody's moved towards Trump. It's clear as day. It's indisputable. Do you think that will have impact on the sports world and the Steve Kerrs, the Popovich, the LeBron Jameses of the world? Yeah.
I kind of think it will, and I kind of akin it a little bit to the Joe Rogans and the Dana Whites that have come along for this ride, and where sports meets the podcast, and you have the Shannon Sharps and the Stephen A's, but I feel like we've pulled in some of these big heavyweights that I think are shifting the paradigm with like a Joe Rogan and a Dana White.
Definitely those two, and I would even say particularly Dana White, and not because trust me, Joe Rogan's association with UFC, what Dana White has done, how bold, he went and spoke at the RNC, I believe, in 2016. Mm-hmm. He's been with Trump from the get-go and has stood firmly and told people associated with the UFC, do what you want. Stand, you're not gonna receive any penalty for standing firm on what you believe here over in the UFC. That sets the tone that allows Joe Rogan to do what he eventually ended up doing. And I'm telling Dana White, for a lot of the athletes, I've never seen them really try to go after Dana White. I think they did try to make something out of, Dana White and his wife at a bar on a vacation and him getting physical with her. But that didn't go very far. I think most athletes respect Dana White across the board, regardless of sports. and they respect how successful the UFC is. They respect and understand his mentality. And so to me, Steve, and welcome back, I just think authenticity is going to return to the sports world. These people that have acted like the Nick Bosas and other people haven't existed in football locker rooms forever, and that many of the black players agree with Nick Bosa, agree with Donald Trump. We can now be more authentic. If you're having any concerns over how much you're paying for health insurance, click the link in my bio to schedule a call with the amazing team at Crowd Health. Crowd Health is revolutionizing healthcare. Pay your healthcare bills without the need for insurance. Click the link in my bio, schedule a call with Crowd Health today.
There's no doubt about that. And Jason, you talked about this a day or two ago, that the shame of wearing a MAGA hat or just merely supporting Donald Trump or not being hyper liberal, everyone is now coming out of the closet, for lack of a better term. And here's when I knew the campaign was in trouble for Kamala Harris. I believe Greg Popovich saw the early polling results, and that's why he got sick. That Trump derangement syndrome of his has now become malignant. Oh, poor Greg. Poor Greg. Boy, that first press conference when he's back, I hope there's an enterprising young reporter that never wants to cover another NBA game. Says, hey, Greg, so what do you think about November 5th? And here's the issue. I believe that any of these celebrities, whether it's these degenerate rappers, whether it's these B-list celebrities, these movie stars, or anybody that's in the public sphere, I'm not saying that we have to go out there and put the scarlet letter on them, but we should never forget who they endorse, but more than that, why. I would actually like to get into, were they paid? How much were they compensated? Do they actually believe the message? Because they were anti-American. In my view, when you look at the legacy of the Kamala Harris campaign, it was the nationwide guilt trip, Jason, that failed. That the working class American of every race, religion, color, and creed had enough. I mean, think about this, Jason. It wasn't just President Trump that won the election. Look what's happening at the statewide level, the House, the Senate, even in L.A. Our DA, Gascon, who basically does not criminalize crime, was rebuked. He was shot down. And you even look at the states that Kamala Harris won, the margins have gotten a lot thinner. Now, this could change in 2 years. I understand that. But now, here's the other point, though. Donald Trump, as much as we are joyous over his victory, it cannot just be a symbolic one. He has a lot of work to do. And put away the rhetoric. We have to come together as a country. And everything he does, the promises he made, we have to be vigilant in making sure that we put his feet to the fire and that he works for this great country of ours.
Look, I know this is a little speculative, but I feel comfortable in speculating in this fashion. I think a lot of the athletes and rappers at the end of the day are a tiny bit authentic, maybe even more than a tiny bit, in their support of Kamala Harris, because of the abortion issue. And I know that I'm about to generalize, but when you're having that much promiscuous sex, traveling the country, as an athlete, as a celebrity, and you're knocking up people right and left, and you're used to, well, that'll cost me $100,000, $200,000 to pay to get this woman to have an abortion, and look, this will sound crazy, but there are women that would prefer to get pregnant and take a $200,000 abortion check than not get married. It's like it's a hustle. And everybody in that culture knows that that's the game that's being played. I'm going to have unprotected sex. You get knocked up. I'm going to cut you a check. Remember, were you on the show when I played the Gilbert Arenas deal talking about, he was paying women $60,000 a month just to, be his girl on standby and all this other stuff. And that when you give young people, athletic people who aren't that intellectually set, when you give them that kind of FU money, they blow it. And they think that they can write a check to cover up any mistake that they make. If you enjoyed that video, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe so you never miss a moment of Fearless.